What we're going to talk about is sales funnels, how to use them, what type of structures people typically use for different businesses that do really well with them. And we'll talk a little bit about offer creation, development, and then kind of how all of that ties into social media and how to get more leads. What do you guys do for business?
Digital marketing.
Digital marketing, like pay-per-click?
No, like website, SEO, online marketing systems.
Okay, awesome. So go high level and those things. How about yourself?
I'm trying to launch a men's fashion line, so.
At what line? Men's fashion line. Okay, awesome. How about yourself, bro?
I have a software and coaching business.
Okay, awesome. So this will be relevant for all of you. All of you. Let's do this. So I own a company called Luxmani and digital offer agency. So I am a serial entrepreneur here in Vegas. I own a stem cell company, a peptide company, my marketing firm, and I also have two membership clubs. One is a private supercar social club where I own a building and private event space down on Sammy Davis next to Battlefield Vegas. And also we have a huge car club community of all exotics and Euro cars. My club actually shuts down this, if you've ever been down here, it's called Cars in the Arts, where we shut down these 3 streets, and there's probably about 300 or 400 all different types of cars here, literally on these 3 streets. So why am I qualified to talk about this? Because I'm someone who literally have taken their businesses and figured out a way how to do what I like to do on my free time and actually make money with it through communities, through using sales funnels to push those different offers, and then actually cumulating a lot of that into actual brick and mortar location. I built my marketing firm. We started in 2015, generated over 500 million in verified revenue, did 38 7-figure funnels, 16 8-figure funnels. Top product-based company does 5 million a month. Top service-based client company does 8.9 million a month. Worked with Ty Lopez. We were part of his original team that did the 67 steps, which was kind of one of the first concepts that broke out of how to launch courses before they're actually done to test the marketplace. That would be like in your guys' situation, a lot of what you're doing is a lot of testing. And you want to make sure that you're actually having a brand and a message that makes sense to the audience. And I see a lot of companies, especially in the tech world, that are spending $300,000-$400,000 to build out tech. And then they come to us and they're like, well, how do we get this out there? And we're like, well, how do you know anyone wants this? They're like, oh, no, but this is the best. Well, how do you know? Just because you're in the industry? And that's usually the answer. So what we'll do here is I'm going to bring you guys through a little bit of the different types of sales funnels we see at a high level. And then being that there's not too many of us in here, we can kind of go in depth into what you guys are trying to do and what you guys want. And then we can Q&A it. And then I will tailor the end of the conversation a little bit to offer development and offer structure, and we call them offer stacking. So once we get there, it'll make more sense, but we'll talk a little bit about value ladders and why they matter, and how to get people in for one thing, sell them all the way up the value ladder, get them in the top of the value ladder, sell them all the way down. So my name's Antwan Web. Any questions so far at all?
I gotta move it closer, I can't.
Yeah, it's all good. This is my wife, Dana, so she runs everything. So fortunately for us, we've been able to get a really good behind the scenes look at how some of the most successful brands on the planet operate, like Tony Robbins. And I'm actually going to show you different sales funnels and structures from these guys so that you guys can understand exactly how people are leveraging these structures in order to do business. So you'll probably notice a bunch of these names, some names that you won't. But if you look at all of these brands, what's going on, guys? Welcome in. We're talking about sales funnels today. We're talking about how to leverage them in your businesses. We're talking about the best structures that we see at the top 7 and 8 figure companies. And then we're also talking about offer development and how to structure your offer in ways that people actually care. So you picked a good one to come on in here. What do you do for business?
Real estate broker.
Okay, awesome. How about yourself?
SEO.
SEO, awesome. So when you look at these big brands, like you take Tony Robbins' brand or you take like Alex Hormozi's brand, they always have a few things in common, which is what we see. And by the way, so you guys know who I am, we run a big marketing firm. It's called Laxmani Marketing Solutions. I also have another company called Digital Offer Agency, and I'm a serial entrepreneur here in Vegas. And I do a plethora of things, but most notably, I own a marketing firm, I own a stem cell company, I own a peptide company, and I also own multiple communities, mostly around the exotic car space, and we have a brick and mortar building location that ties a lot of this stuff together. Networking events, masterminds, all of that.
You still use Wi-Fi?
Yeah, give me the Wi-Fi. Okay, Suite 150. Cool. Got it. Let's see if that works. But all right, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. So, a little bit about us. Founded in 2015. We've done over 500 million in verified sales. 38 7-figure funnels, 16 8-figure funnels. Top service-based client does 8.9 million a month. The top product-based client does 5 million a month. We've got all types of different clients. Lived with Jordan Belfort for 3 years out in Hermosa Beach when he had just got out the pen. We scaled him to 10 million and then did a bunch of other things too.
So Tony Robbins is one of your clients?
We worked on one of them when we were working with ClickFunnels. So he wasn't a direct client, but I was fortunate enough to work with his team on building out some of the systems and structures. So when you look at some of the most developed brands in the country, they have 3 things in common. 1, a proven and tested sales funnel architecture and strategy. They're not just throwing stuff at the wall hoping it sticks. So a lot of times new business owners were like, well, hey, what's ChatGPT have to say about this? And we're like, oh, well, let's try that. And let's go throw $5,000 at that. That's not really what we want to do. When I work with a corporation or they bring me in to consult for them or build their structures, one of the first things I'm looking at is how are we bringing people through the process and what is that process? And if we don't have a good process or a broken process, then I'm going to look for a process that I know that will convert at a minimum particular number. So when they say, hey, we want to spend $100,000 in our first month, I know that it's almost guaranteed we're going to 3x their money or 4x their money. So we want to have proven tested sales funnels and structures to use. 2, a profitable paid traffic source that generates a minimum of 3 times return on investment. And we want to consistently optimize conversions and traffic based on data, which I'm sure you guys are very familiar with. So taking the data and actually not guessing about it is one of the main things that you want to look for, because most agencies operate on theory. You'll say, hey, I want leads for X, Y, and Z community, and they'll say, hey, well, what's your client avatar? Okay, cool. Well, let's go and program that in. And then they're charging you $2,000 a month or whatever. You think you're getting stellar performance, but they just set you up, set it and forget it program, and your stuff is just kind of running, and there's no real optimization. So if they're not asking you for like feedback on what happened with the lead and did you close it and etc., if there's no reporting back, good chance that they're not reporting it. So they don't know who you closed, who you didn't close, unless you start bitching, essentially, and then they start looking into it. But a good company is actually going to look for that specifically and work on the data, and they'll have systems and processes to know who closed, who didn't close, and they'll be suggesting CRMs and stuff like that. If you've got someone that just, hey, yeah, give me $5,000 a month, we'll run your stuff and give me everything you got, you're probably in a novice company. So we'll go through this. Who here has heard of a tripwire sales funnel? No. Okay. So a tripwire sales funnel is one of the most common funnels that you will see. Have you guys ever been on like looking for a supplement and they're like, hey, buy this bottle for 20 bucks. And they're like, oh, that sounds like pretty good. And then you're like, okay, you go and you buy it for 20 bucks and they're like, hey, double your purchase for like $32.95 instead of 40. Those are tripwires. So a lot of the times also book funnels are the starts of tripwires. Different PDFs are the starts of tripwires. So anytime you see something like that's not a product but an education base, if you see a product and it's a low price, there's your trip. They want to entice you to get to the next step. And the goal of that first trip is to actually offset your ad spend. So maybe it costs you $30 to get a sale. Well, they want to make sure that their price is $32, right? So to get you in, if it's $6 to a sale, maybe they have an offer for $7 and they get you in. So that's for you to trip over, and then everything else that happens in that sales funnel is actually profit. One of the best examples of this is actually Grant Cardone. So Grant Cardone has a thing called Millionaire Booklet. So the Millionaire Booklet sells you on the actual book, and it's called a self-liquidating front offer is what you want. And that's kind of the goal for a lot of businesses, especially in marketing, products, digital, courseware sales, etc. Even in like building your fashion line, you're gonna maybe have a bestseller. Well, why the hell, if we're gonna put marketing behind something, we don't wanna show them the whole line, we wanna show them the bestseller. We wanna show them the best product, trip on that, get in, now I'm even, now go check out all the other stuff, right? So one of the things that you'll see in the courseware space a lot is people running advertising straight to a book or a PDF or a download. Well, that's your first step in the actual tripwire funnel. What Cardone does is he sells you a $27 book and tells you the book's free, just pay for the shipping. And so you pay for the shipping, they self-liquidate on that front end offer, and then they're looking to upsell you on that next offer. So what Cardone does is says, hey, buy my book, I'm not charging you anything, here's $13 offer, it's typically $31, it's $13, well, it only costs the dude $13 to get your ass there. So he's happy, that's fine. Now I've got name, phone number, and email, I can set him up in my CRM and run other marketing to them at any time. However, while you're here, by the way, I have a $400 courseware that you should buy. Well, if you don't want that, there's usually a little button that says, no, I accept to decline this offer. Well, no problem. Then we're gonna tell you, why don't you purchase this for a simple fee of $99 for the next 4 months. And then if you say, no, I don't want that, then he says, well, I've got a recording of 10XCon, it's only 150 bucks, get the whole $3,000, $4,000 ticket experience for 150 bucks. And now, if you take advantage of that, he's up $163 on a $13 lead. Now we're profitable. The whole goal of these structures is to get money through the door and get the data, name, phone number, email, because typically we're paying for that data no matter what. It's just about how do we make it easier for us to pay less for it versus paying more for it. A lot of businesses, they're going after the highest point in their ladder most of the time, trying to get people there. And then when you're like, yeah, this costs $5,000, they're like, I can't afford that. And then you got nothing. They're like, oh, well, see you later. Well, if you're paying $350 for every ass that's in a seat on your sales team's call, that's going to be a problem. So that's one of the main things where when consultants come in and they're like, yeah, I've got a $10,000 product, man, and we'll be fine, I'm going to sell the shit out of these. And I'm like, did you know the average American has $400 in their bank account? And they're like, no. Well, that's statistics. I don't make it up. So you want to make sure that when you're developing your offers out in your business, you consider these things, because that is what is going to make the difference in your internet marketing. So everyone, any questions on that, on what is a tripwire funnel? Okay, I'm gonna show you also a couple examples of a tripwire funnel. Who said they were in real estate? Oh, okay, real estate boy left, see? Missing the goods. Let's see this one. Where are we at there, buddy? Okay, so I'll show you guys an example of a tripwire funnel. This is actually for grow funnels. Funnel companies come to us all the time and say, hey guys, we know you guys are the best, we need you to build stuff out for us. So let's take a marketing company for an example. You guys may have something on the front end where you're leveraging what's called a video sales letter. Now, tripwire funnels can come in a lot of different forms. And I want you guys to understand this because this is technically the bottom line of your value ladder. So let me show you guys this too. This will make a little bit of sense. Let's do this. Okay. Let's take a look here. Okay, so this is for a company called the Coach Firm. And so they're actually teaching coaches, they're teaching people how to become life coaches. So it's a really lucrative field if you do it right. And they have a certification program. Their certification program is from $8,500 to $12,000. You'll see that right here at the top. So this is their number 10. Most coaches and consultants, they'll say, this is my offer. And then they'll say, give me a phone call to this offer. And then they'll spend $10,000 on marketing, get phone calls to leads, have the calls and have the sales teams talk about their highest tier offer, and then have none of the rest of the value ladder built out. And that's where you start to lose money. When you're developing out your business as a whole, one of the things that almost no one talks about is this piece right here, the value ladder. Why does it matter? Because when you figure out your actual value ladder for your business, well now, if I want to spend money on getting phone calls straight to my business, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying that when you're having that conversation for 8 to 12 grand and they can't afford it, you need to know, where are you going next? How are you downselling these individuals so that the idea is that everybody gets sold something on the call? So, and I'll get to some product stuff too for you. So when you're actually understanding this to a high level, or you work with someone that understands this, you have a much better chance of making money. So like for these individuals, you have your 8,500 to 12, you have your 3,500 to 4,200, which is a coach, 85 to 12 will coach you, 35 to 42 coach yourself through a structured program, 2,200 video on demand. And so now you're taking your highest tier ticket product and you're breaking it down into smaller bite-sized pieces that take less of your time. You can't take, so like a lot of people, I'm a big advocate of selling on a scale. So like if I'm in with a company that's publicly traded, well, the price is going to be different than if I'm talking to my buddy's friend that just got out of college and scaling his business. They might be getting the same thing, but the price is wildly different. I'm not coming in under 30 grand to any type of corporation. So, question?
Does that say group, tribe, and then?
Which one? Oh, group,
Tribe?
what does that say?
Sorry, I'm a life coach, so.
Okay. Hit you on the head. Group, help group.
No worries.
That's fine. I don't know what the hell I wrote there. 1 to 2 times a month, live Q&A, some training, video on demand, call to action, schedule a call for continued help. What the hell did I write there?
Help group, okay. Yeah, I think
It is like a help group. So the $100 a month offer would be, you can use a Discord. You can use a Facebook group, which Facebook groups are a little bit antiquated. The systems and processes are not really there. You can use School. You can use Teachable. Anywhere, any program that really allows you to gather people and delegate to them. I use Discord because a lot of people are ex-gamers and they're used to paying for stuff on that. Or people are into stock trading and they're paying on Discords to be part of Discords. So I try to go with like some type of software or program that makes sense for the general public is used to paying for stuff on. Like if I go to a Facebook group and I ask you to pay, you're gonna be like, why the hell am I paying for a Facebook group? So you wanna use stuff that's relevant. You have product purchases, you know. I'm not gonna get into their offers here, but they have a $297, $675, and a $1497. And then the bottom of their tripwire, this 1 to 3 is their tripwire. They'll get you in for a free PDF or an ebook, upsell you on a $47 signature tool that they use to help coaches coach. And then you have a $97 for the 3 best tools for coaches and video breakdowns on those tools. So one thing that might help you guys is to understand that you have 3 tiers of products. You have high, you have mid, and you have your low tier products. And they all have different systems and processes that go with them. The low tier here are more of your tripwire, your lower end, your hands-off kind of approach stuff. As you get to the mid, it's typically a little bit more educational, a little bit more involved. You have videos to sell it on your systems and pages. And then as you go to the high, yes, you still have videos, but the whole main call to action is actually not to purchase anything, but to have a phone call. So we over deliver on the value, and then we have the call to action to a phone call to come buy our stuff. So like for, in your case scenario, something really dynamic that you could do is most people are typically used to purchasing the product right then and there. If you're a luxury brand, then you're gonna wanna align with the things that luxury individuals are doing, which is you have a glass ceiling. You can go into Ferrari, but doesn't mean you can get one, right? You can go into McLaren, doesn't mean you can get one. You need to have the allocations to get them. So one of the cool things that you can do, what is it, shirts, clothing, sneakers, what type of luxury items?
My flagship is denim jeans.
Okay, so we could have different types, let me see if I have something in here. How much do the jeans go for?
$1,200.
Okay. What other products are in the line that are like 400?
400 would be like, it drops down quite a bit. 200, there's some high-end sweatshirts.
Okay.
Or hoodies.
Okay.
Comes down to a t-shirt and hats, that's where
Okay. Hats are going for how much?
74.
And you have any wallets?
No wallets.
Okay.
Just clothing.
Okay, I only ask because you may be able to duplicate jean designs into wallets, which would be the lowest tier product in your line, but still also offset and emulate your highest tier line. So if you have like some jeans with its cool patches or something like that, could do a miniature version of that. They might never be able to afford a $1,200 pair of jeans, but they'll buy your wallet over a Gucci wallet, right? If it's cool. What's the brand with the heart on it? What brand is that? The sneakers they got and the shirts? It's something like that. So I
collabed with Converse.
yes. So the Converse ones with all the hearts and stuff, they're coming out with wallets and stuff. A lot of people weren't buying the shoes. Shoes were pretty expensive. Weren't buying the t-shirt outerwear, but now they're buying this other a keychain with the heart on it because now everybody knows the heart. Right? So they're getting their monies and their feet at the lowest point in with the demographic so more people see it, and then they're leveraging, hey, you can't get this. now luxury brand.
That was my strategy. Like Tiffany, you buy a $300 pendant, you can't afford the $1,000.
100%. And the business is actually more about selling and marketing that stuff than it is then marketing the other pieces. So, where do we go here? Okay, boom, 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 boom. Let me get...
Question on like
Sure.
the mid, like that mid tier.
Yep.
Are you saying like in that product ladder, the mid tier, you would have a VSL?
You can have a VSL in that mid-tier. Let me show you an example here.
What is it? He said VSL? What is that?
VSL, it's called a video sales letter. So let's take this into consideration. So let's say you're a marketing company. You come on, you watch the video, you bring someone through this whole long form type of thing. Hey, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get this, all the cool shit that you're gonna get. And this one's actually selling everything that they have, which is a all-in-one website and funnel creation tool, invitation to seed networks and community, and a proven templates and strategies for 14 days. You get $1 access for 14 days. Now, that's their, unrefutable offer. Allows us to get their name, phone number, email, and credit card number. Once they click and say, hey, thanks, we're like, hey, you should probably unlock your VIP access to Grow Funnels for a free limited time. You're gonna get all this cool stuff. And by the way, it's just $87 a month, typically, 50% discount. So, and then people can go normally $174 a month, etc. So this is their mid-tier offer. $174 starts your mid-tier, which, let me take a look here.
What would be a good target for someone to like opt into the mid tier immediately after already purchasing like the low end offer?
Say again, what would be what?
What would be like the, I guess, probability or the conversion rate that you're looking for? Like after you just purchased your low ticket offer and then you're immediately in that same flow, you're like, here's the mid tier.
Mm-hmm.
What is that conversion rate that you would hope for?
It all depends on the offer, the audience, the price jump. If you're going from like 7 to like 40 or like 27, you would expect like a 30%, 40%. But if you're going from like, let's say a 47 to 297, you're gonna have a decent amount of drop off there. So then maybe you might expect 20% or 15% conversion rates. But on that 15%, you're looking to try to offset that ad spend as much as possible. Remember, everything here and right like your up to $300 mark, like you could have a 197, a 127, or whatever it is. All of those are still very low on the profitability sector. So typical cost per acquisition is like 60 or 70 bucks. So typical, average. So like you're losing money on that low end offer 90% of the time on most businesses, unless you have a solidified brand that you're then going and those people are like, oh no, I like them and this is good and I'll just buy it. Most people are super skeptical, which is why that whole low end rung exists. It's to just overcome and build rapport. And then it's not about absolutely becoming profitable on that second offer. It's about now having the data to actually pull and then bring them up to your highest offer. If they don't close on your highest offer, you downsell them all the way where they fit, basically. So like when you do these structures, there's a lot of different Let me see here. So like this is a coaching program for a personal chef, right? So the way that his structures and whatnot work out are completely different than yours or yours or yours. Every business is different of how they work out, which is why most people would benefit from consulting about how do I structure my offers in my business, right? Because most people are just trying to knock everybody out with one punch instead of actually boxing. So, and if you miss on that one punch, now you got nothing. So that's what we're looking to avoid. So you got a tripwire funnel that's made for mostly lower end offers. Cardone's very good at that. Russell Brunson also uses a variation of the tripwire funnel in order to sell you into his booklets and then upsell you into the actual ClickFunnels program, which is why you got Traffic Secrets, Expert Secrets.com Secrets. They start with a book, get your data, your information. Oh, you're someone who wants to learn about building funnels? Okay, cool. Well, now they can upsell you in their back-end process. Lady Boss, product funnel. Started off in fitness. Went to an opt-in page, really simple opt-in page. Hey, are you a woman? Are you into fitness? Have you been trying to get fit? Check out these testimonials. This is what we do. Name, phone number, information there, and then bring you to a long form sales page, which then you're going to go through all of the different things that she teaches and the value. And then once you sign up for that and you do the order page, you check out. And now her whole business is built on upselling supplements. So great, you have access to the gym program, you have access to the fitness program. By the way, you should have this supplement, and this one, and this one, and this one, and confirm your order. And so that's how supplement companies white label and upsell their stuff through tripwires, but also how a coach can come in, have a core product, but then white label other products to make money. So that's another example of a tripwire funnel. Once you start understanding the structures of the stuff, you'll see that everyone's using a lot of the similar stuff, but just in a different way and in a different angle. BarkBox, when you start to get really developed in your business, you'll start to kind of form a map with your funnel structures. So when someone comes in and they buy my PDF, well, what happens after? Well, they're going to go through this chain of sequences. Well, if they come in and they buy my video on demand coaching, well, what happens? Well, they're going to this chain of sequences. Well, if someone comes in and joins my community, what's happening? They're going through this chain of sequences. So as you start to develop different branches of your business, you can start to push people through different sequences that will increase your revenue. So someone comes in and buys a wallet, I don't have to have a tripwire funnel to extort them for more money. I could say, hey, thanks, we're the #1 luxury wallet, clothing company brand, and you're going to be so happy with this wallet, you're going to want to know the rest of our line, but it's locked for you right now till you get the wallet. Keep a look on your email for the access link to our full catalog, right? So now they bought the wallet, they're like, oh shit, this is cool, and now 15 minutes later they get an email with a link to unlock the whole catalog. Well, now we can bring them into another funnel from the back end of our CRM, and we say, hey, great, you click this link, now this funnel link pops up, and now they're on the funnel for the flagship jeans. Now we show them the flagship product right after we're done. They bought the wallet. Hey, here's the actual flagship jeans that go with your wallet. If you have the money, buy them. If you don't, we have really cool other stuff. And now you go from jeans on the page explaining all of the, benefits of it, the thread count, the type of denim, where it comes from, all of the stuff that people wouldn't even think about. And then you have a little button on there that say, damn, this is expensive. And they click that. And now they get downgraded to your second tier product line, which maybe has jeans for $500 and a couple shirts and tees for like $200. And then from that page, you would show them specific stuff. They could either purchase, and then on their confirmation page, you send them to the full website, which would be on like Shopify or something like that, or whatever you're gonna develop out your full catalog on, but you wouldn't have a full catalog on a funnel. The funnel is meant for you to make a decision quickly with least amount of thinking as possible. So
Do you have that funnel platform? Does it matter? Facebook, Instagram?
you can run it on all platforms. A funnel is like a website. So think of like a website. They drop you in the middle of a maze. You go up to the About You section, you go in there, you're reading about it, you get to the bottom, and fucking nowhere to go. Go back. Go to the next one, go down, nowhere to go. So what a funnel does is it wants to keep you on that front page, but every time it's saying, hey, I can take you somewhere, purchase or phone call. So the funnel is meant to funnel people to the thing that you want it to do. So most funnel structures are meant to do one thing. Because if you have too many choices, you could do like up to 3. If you're selling like a 3-tier product, you could do that. You're selling 3 pairs of jeans that are along the same line but different price points, you could do that on one page. But essentially, you're looking for people to make decision on that one thing on that one page, which is going to lead them naturally to that next page. So step 1 sells step 2, which step 2 sells step 3 in a lot of these processes. So we'll go through here. The Beard Club, another product one. This is a really cool variation of a tripwire. Let's say we've got a lot of products and stuff that we want to, and this is for all you guys on YouTube. If you guys got a lot of product line, your health and beauty, your cologne, your men's accoutrement, and you're a beard product company like this guy, well, you can always come to the home page, and the home page will allow you to have different areas like to go places. So let's say this could be used for you too. Let's say you have hats, let's say you have jeans, let's say you have jackets and socks. You got 4 things. Well, we can showcase those on the front page and allow people to choose where they want to go first. So each one of these, you would have, your hats and then all your pieces. You could even make a subscription model to this and kind of, not in your particular case, but if you were to do an off-brand that is subscription, that's based on the high luxury end items, you could do something like this where you have threads in a box sent to you, and it's based all around all of the most luxury items, but they're downscaled, and you get into it for $150 a month, and then you build your own box. So that would follow a similar structure like this, where you would say, hey, I've got all these cool things. There's not a million places for you to go. Any button you click outside of the one on the bottom, which tells you how it works, is going to bring you through to fill your own box. So you may have, 2 hats that are on your poverty line. Okay. So you may have, jeans, you may have whatever it is. You can take them through and have them choose what they want as they go and give them a limit, and now that's their box.
So you say subscription, I'm not following that. So.
Sure. So there's Fabletics, where Kevin Hart, you see those, he does like different commercials and shit. We're like, oh, these were only $19. Well, yeah, you paid a $70 subscription. They're $89. Makes sense? So you could have people, like you could do box style subscriptions with clothing and with other type of physical products. You can allow people to accumulate their own pieces into their own subscription, and then you release different stuff every 2 months or 3 months, right? And you update it. It is definitely an outside of the box application for what you're doing. But a lot of people want MRR, monthly return revenue. So how do you do that, right? So like, let's say the sales aren't going to explode off the bat for the luxury items. Well, how do we get that brand out there quickly to cover a mass market while then being able to also upsell that mass market on the luxury items? This is one way that you could do it, come in low, but also bring people up high. It's just food for thought, right? So they typically tell me I'm pretty good at what I do. Gym Launch Secrets, Alex Schmozy. Anyone heard of him? Yeah? Okay, good. So they did 8 figures in 6 months with a very relevant funnel. This is called a top of funnel or a high ticket sales funnel. So if you don't know the story about Alex Hermosi, Layla Hermosi, they own acquisition.com, really big company that acquires other brands and then helps those brands scale. Well, how they learn how to do that? They got into sales funnels, they got into digital marketing, and then they're pairing digital marketing, sales funnels, and systems and procedures with these companies to help them scale and grow. And so what most companies don't really know how to do is to actually get phone calls, right? So coaches, consultants, service-based businesses, we all need phone calls, essentially. So like, what are some of the best ways to get phone calls? We talked about what are some of the best ways to kind of deliver products, downloadable things, video on demand things. All of those can be done with tripwires. All of those can be done with sales funnels that just are asking you to buy. It's called a product purchase funnel. So, but if you're not doing those things and you want a phone call, so like my stem cell company, I need phone calls. Peptide company, I need phone calls. Marketing company, I need phone calls. I don't have a way around that. I can automatically sell people into my car club membership. I can get them into my supercar social club membership. You know, they can get access to our, private building and private event center. That's easy, but getting people interested to talk with you about what you're doing at a high level is harder. Typically because what we're doing is more complex, it's not easy to understand, and if we were to allow people to just kind of go through a website willy-nilly, we'll probably lose them because it'd be an overflow of information. So what this structure does is, and this is a little bit of an antiquated structure, and I'll show you the updated version for like what's applicable to you guys. What Alex was able to do was generate lead traffic to an opt-in. Do you guys remember these ugly pages we used to see all the time? Like that just literally was just words on a page and it's like, click here. And then we'd always freaking click there and just give them our information because we're like, just show me what the hell you're talking about. So now the demographic has changed where most people don't want to give their information. We're so like, people are more privacy driven. How are you guys? Welcome. You're okay, you're good. We're in a relaxed and learning environment here. We're talking about sales funnels. We're talking about how to leverage them for your business. We're talking about what structures are really good to use, etc. So what we're talking about right now is how to get leads to a phone call. What type of business do you own?
So I am a consultant, but
Okay.
I'm working music, film, and all that.
Awesome. And how about yourself?
I do live streaming to 162 countries, pay-per-views, MMA, boxing,
Okay.
fashion show.
All right. Awesome. How about yourself, sir?
I do stuff on Web3.
Oh, perfect. This is all Web 2, but you're welcome here. They do. So what we're talking about here is specific for service-based businesses, coaches, consultants. So what this structure is, we're talking about Alex Hermosi right now and the Gym Launch Secret funnel. And we're going to look at the steps of this funnel, and I'm going to show you how you guys can use it for yourselves and what the new updated process is. So we used to run ads to an opt-in page, simple call to action. What was so important about this opt-in page was that it did a few things when they worked really well. They leveraged authority and they leveraged intrigue frame control. Now, when you're you're dealing with a good marketer, you're going to deal with a lot of psychology. No one does anything without the right psychology. And the good thing is that us as humans, we don't have some new psychology that's brand new in the last 5 years. No. So when you understand the principles of how people make decisions and why, you're able to leverage that to your ability. And that's what we want you to do. And as marketers, you need to be able to do that through your copywriting and through the structuring setup of your pages. So what Alex Hermosi did really well was like, hey guys, are you a gym owner? And I was able to help Jimmy Bob get 650 new gym members in the last 90 days. Do you want to learn how to get 360 new gym members in the next 90 days? Yes or no? Is the offer for you or is it not? And so when you can dial your messaging in very direct like that, you can get a polarized answer, which is really what you want. Tell me yes or tell me no. Now, and I want to make sure that it's clear enough that you can make the decision and it's not too hard to make a decision, because when it starts getting too convoluted and you ask too many questions, now people don't really know how to answer, so they don't answer and they get the hell off your page. So I want to make it really simple, really easy. This is it. Are you interested? And that's what he did. And if you were interested, then you'd get a little pop-up here, name, phone number, your email, and then send you to an application page. Hey, this is all of the clients that we've been able to work with. These are the gym owners. This is their testimonials. This is what we're able to do for them. Do you want to talk to someone on the team? And they schedule a phone call. And then they show up for the call, and then they get closed. Or they get downsold into some other relevant element that would help them. So this is probably one of the top structures that you'll see to actually generate phone calls. What we did was we have a $12 million funnel stack, and I'm going to show it to you guys here for everyone who needs phone calls in the room. First things first, what we wanted to do was we needed to figure out, how do I get people to a phone call with less steps and not using just a regular prompt or opt-in. So whereas Hermosi's system was add, opt-in, data collection, add, opt-in, data collection, application, schedule a phone call. Ours is you get rid of that opt-in, you get rid of that data capture, send them straight to the application page. The data capture is built into the application page on a call to action, and then it's right to the calendar. So it's you go straight from paid traffic right to the application page, which looks like a website page. And then from that, your call to action is, hey, give me your name, phone number, your email, schedule a call. So you said you were consulting on what again?
Software engineering.
Software engineering. Okay. So if I've got, some company that, who are the typical businesses that you work with?
So I actually help great software engineers become successful, and so help them grow in their career leadership.
Okay, so this is built towards software engineers. So you would typically create some type of front-end page that would, and I'll just show you how kind of dynamic you can get with it. Actually, let me see this one. So, I'm sorry, sales funnel, webinar. Okay, so let's say this. This is one of my clients. Have you guys ever heard of Cameron Foose? Does a lot of stock trading, stuff like that on YouTube. Anyway, check him out on YouTube. This is one of his students. We work with Cameron a lot. We do a lot of his students. So I get a lot of traders that come in and that are like, hey, I want to teach other people how to trade. And I want to, get them involved in my communities, and I want to sell them courseware, and then I also want to one-on-one consult for them. So one of the things that you can do to leverage this is you have a page that looks and feels like a website. All right, so you have your home, services, about, contact, FAQ, but whenever you hit those pieces, it'll jump down to that section on the actual site instead of putting you into the site, and now you're on another page where there's no call to action, there's nowhere else to go. I don't want you scuba diving deep down into an underwater cavern. You don't have a scuba tank. So we want to keep you on the surface of the water don't let you down unless we give you the scuba gear to go down there. And the only way you're getting the scuba gear is if you give me your name, phone number, and your email. So we structure call to actions like, hey, attention stock traders, a hidden tweak in price action trading is helping traders predict the market's moves without relying on news and events. A hidden and lucrative price action variation called quantum prodigy framework is in use by Wall Street companies to trade consistently, predictably, using the simple secret. This is the beginning of the wave that will change price action trading for forever. Are you ready to learn more? If you click that, I'm ready to learn more, cool. Give me your phone number, name, and your email. I'll tell you more. Just give me that information. And by the way, I could tell you more on a phone call. Schedule your call. Now they pick their day, they pick their time, their information auto-populates from that front pop-up data capture, and now maybe you just ask them 2 or 3 other qualifying questions to see if they're a good fit or not. And now that takes that whole streamlined process and leave them off with a video. They may still want to go back to your main page, but that's fine. I just want you to schedule a call. I don't want you to go research and all this other stuff. I got the information for you. Talk to my guys. So, and then obviously the rest of the page is built out in order for you to understand what the hell's going on, right? So this particular type of structure can be used for all different types of businesses. So I've got another lady named Stephanie Grady. She works on Fox and a couple other news channels, but her passion and what she loves to do is actually help college students land big brand deals. So now that like the NCAA and all of that, you can use your likeliness to generate profit, etc. So what she does is she takes elite female athletes and she gets them brand deals, and she uses all of her connections that are in the industry to do that. So as you go through, you can actually talk about what you're doing, and you can show this in a way that aligns with your brand that would be super targeted to the individual. So all of these now, for all intents and purposes, this and this are the same structure. It's the same thing, but they look wildly different because the audience is different and the branding is different and what we're doing is different, but the structure is still the same. I'm still bringing you on along an application page in order to separate you from your name, phone number, your email, and allow you to schedule a call about it. This structure can be used for anyone that is leveraging different businesses. How are we doing on time? We got like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So when you do this, there's also another structure called a VSL. Don't let people scare you with this. So video sales letter is what it's called. And guess what? A VSL is the same structure as a website consult funnel, which a website consult funnel is made to look like a website but give you a consultation call. And you'll get a lot of different wording and variation for small variations and tweaks in the system and process. So they could simply say that VSL is a website consult funnel with video. That's the difference. However, the good thing about it is when you get to your value ladder, and let me get here. Okay, so let's say this. When you get to your value ladder and you're leveraging your tripwire funnel to get leads in here, you spend money for that. You get the book, you get their data here, you upsell them on a masterclass, they say no thanks. You upsell them on the full course, they say no thanks, and then you offer them a payment plan and they may take that. The good part about having different variations like a VSL funnel or a phone call funnel, the phone call funnel may not have videos on it. or it won't lead with videos. A lot of times when people get videos first, you lose their attention. I'm asking you to spend time when time is the most valuable commodity. You don't want to spend it with me. I don't have your rapport to spend it with me. If I just pop up to you on Facebook and I say, hey, I come walking you up on the street and you don't know me and I say, hey dude, can I talk to you for 5 minutes? You're like, no. Who the hell are you? But if I pounded you with Facebook ads directly to your page for the last 2 weeks and I walked up to you on the street and I was like, dude, can I talk to you for 5 minutes? You're like, oh, hold the fuck on, bro. I just seen your face for like the last week on my Facebook page, bro. Who are you? Now it's a difference. So we want to figure out how to leverage that rapport. Well, the only way to do it is show them something that's easy to get through, not a video, which would be that long form page with mostly copy, that copywriting being psychologically derived to get you to convert based on authority, based on intrigue frame, you being curious. Hey, I'm the best at doing what I do. You want to learn how I do what I do and I can give you another $1 million? Yeah, are you curious about that? Yeah, okay, good, convert. So if you do convert and I get your information and you didn't watch a video on me, well, now if you don't schedule the call but I got your data, well now I can send you something with a video because now you know a little bit about me and who I am. So now you'll be more inclined to go and watch that video. Now the video means something to you. So that's, there's different, so using these different funnels in the process, it matters where they come in, it matters how you use them. So what I can tell you guys is this: most funnel agencies suck, and they only suck because they're newbies. They're new guys in the marketplace, they're YouTube University guys, and they're trying to show you the way to your first 10,000 and they ain't even got to 10,000 yet. And likewise in the marketing industry, is likewise in the coaching industry, is very saturated. So one of the ways that you can really stick out in the industry is by having the right sales funnel, having the right back-end system to perform these tasks, and having the right structure for your actual offers. So you're a consultant, this matters like double time for you versus a typical service-based business who's, selling financial, I've got guys like this who come in, let me see this. I get a lot of guys come in for finance and lending and funding and mortgages and real estate and all kind of different stuff. So the main takeaway here today is, one, you want to make sure that if you're selling something super high ticket, you need to make sure that you have other offers under that. So when people come in and they fall through that first line, we catch them on the second one. They fall through the second one, we catch them on the third one, etc. What the hell's going on here? Number two, your sales funnel matters. So the type of design that's used, the type of elements that are used, all of that matters. You want something that feels elite. And most of the time, you're not going to get that if you don't actually deal with someone who really knows their stuff. I typically deal with corporations, Fortune 500, Fortune 5000. We come in, we overhaul their front-end systems and processes, we'll overhaul their funnels, we'll structure out their offers. And then we'll help them scale by having the people come through the right way. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do for you guys, if you guys want help with this, I don't mind helping you. I'll do a free strategy session for you. We'll get on a call. You tell me what you're looking for, and then I can give you some overalls that's specific to you. And then if you need deeper in help, I'll say, hey, you should probably do a consultation session. Let's structure out your offers the right way, and then I can help you guys build out the funnels and stuff. and I can keep it at a very affordable price point. It's only a couple of years in here. So if you want, take down my number and just shoot me a text if that's something that you guys want to do.
So you have a sliding scale, obviously, between Fortune 500 to new startup guys.
Say again?
You have a sliding scale.
Oh yeah, please, you're not even on a scale. We're not even gonna use a scale. I got you covered. 201. 704 3410. And again, that's 201 704 3410.
Antwan.
Yep, Antwan, Antwan. Last name Webb, Webb. And then just shoot me a text with your first and last name, and I'll get you guys scheduled for like Monday, Tuesday, whatever we can square up. But happy to get on with you guys and give you a little bit of direction, something more pointed. Any questions so far at all?
Actually, yeah. I'm very much like at the beginning of like launching like now a group offer. Before it was like one-on-one. I don't even go into like that whole thing, but one of the things I was exploring as far as like a funnel was going through more of like a quiz to like help them qualify themselves. All the different options are either like you're doing great, which is if you're doing great, like let's hop on a call because I would love to duplicate what you're doing with my clients. You just need some direction. We can just give you that direction for free, or hey, do you need some help? Like let's hop on a call and help you get that momentum, right? So, like obviously, like there's a lot to go into that quiz, but like I was wondering like, what your thoughts are on those types of funnels.
Sure. When's the last time you've been to the doctor?
Maybe 2 months ago.
Okay. When's the last time that they asked you to do a survey? When's the last time you did one? Me either. So typically, the more difficult you make it before they talk to you, the more drop off you'll have. Those surveys are really good when you have a bigger brand. Tony Robbins does those surveys all day long. Well, he can do it, right? So he'll have you come in and say, hey, what's your thoughts on this and that and the third and the fourth and the fifth? And they'll take you through a 10-question survey. Probably a more efficient way to do it would be something like this. Let me see. No, that's not what I'm looking for. All right, let's see this. Now let's say, do this here. It's a better way to show you this. Really what you want to do is you want to build out here, let's see this. You want to build out the actual questions inside the order, inside the booking form. So you would go to name, phone number, email, schedule, pick a day, pick a time, and then your drop-down menu would pop down. Name, phone number, all of that's pre-filled. Question. They answer the questions, submit, they're booked.
Okay, so like have them essentially like book the appointment first,
Then ask, yeah. Because if we ask them first, you get me or you on there, we might really need the help. We got ADD. Sorry, bro. You got me, I don't know how many more questions are after this. I'm 5 through, this is too much. So it's better to get them first and then ask them after. You can even do a, like once they book, you can even send them a PDF quiz. Hey, before our scheduled call, please answer these questions, this, that, the third. Now someone books a call, you go in your CRM, you check it out. Hey, they answered these questions. All right, they don't really seem that qualified. Now you can either give them a call and say, hey, I'm over here, I'm looking at this. I see that you're making $5,000 a month in your business. It's probably not gonna be a fit. Our offers start at about 10 grand. Is that something that you can foot the bill for? You expect them to say no, that's fine. Hey, that's okay. I just wanted to give you a courtesy call because we care about everyone that comes through here. I might have something for like $650 for you. Is that more up your alley? Yeah, it is. All right, cool. How about this? Let's keep our call scheduled. I'm gonna tailor it to our offer that's more affordable. We don't typically advertise that off the bat, but it's here for you. So let's talk about that on our call, and then it'll be even a much better place to like actually be able to give you a service.
And like, how much nurturing should you do like after that call? Like, cause like I know like I have a sequence of like kind of like send them like something like a freebie, right? Like right after they book, and then maybe like the day before, like send them some testimonials.
Yep.
How would you guys?
So what I like to do is as soon as you book, you're gonna get all of the testimonials. So like, let me see if I got this here. So let's take a look. Booked. Booking. Okay, so hey, you're booked. Awesome. Testimonials. Make sense?
Yeah.
So right on that booking page, I'll knock it out of the park with all the testimonials and give you actual content to go into. Make sense? So you could do it like this, and then put this into an automated message.
Yeah.
And then say, hey, before you get to our call, review this. And I'll typically send that out through like Go High Level or something like that. So, but really, once they schedule, you should have automation for when they're scheduling call. Once they're done, depending on what column they go into, should start another section of automation. So like, if they didn't show up, break their balls for like 20 days. If they were shy on the price point, well then you might want to have them in an automation where, high price sensitivity. Okay, well maybe that has our $300 offer funnel, and we find out 6 different angles to put that in front of them in a 30 email sequence. And now we're using that funnel to bombard that category. And then once they purchase there, the CRM should take them from that $600 offer. Okay, great. Now they should go into the next column that would prime them for the offer that's a step higher. So which all falls back on that value ladder. So that's one of the first things we do with big corps, because we don't know if their processes are really broken or not until we look at that. So that makes sense. What's up, boss? Welcome.
Hey,
how are you? What type of business do you own?
I don't own a business.
What do you do?
I'm a software developer.
Software developer.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. God bless. So that is our time for today. Any other questions that you guys got?
So you, looks like you switched from ClickFunnels to Go High Level?
No, I typically build everything out on Go High Level. I like Go High Level over ClickFunnels because it gives the back end capabilities that ClickFunnels really doesn't. I know ClickFunnels 2.0, they're attempting to do a lot of what Go High Level's doing, but just in my opinion, Go High Level's been a lot cleaner across the different business. I primarily run sales teams for these businesses, right? So for what I need it for, it's very smooth. It allows me to kind of structure things out the way that I want to see them versus being stuck in a more rigid system.
Yeah, no, I use Go High Level. I've been thinking about switching off of it, or even like fragmenting it, because I don't know, Go High Level is still feels cobbled together.
High level?
Yeah. Or at least
I can get that.
Like getting like automation outside.
You could do automation outside. I do have developers that do structure the automation outside, but I will say Go High Level is not user friendly. So like you need to be, yeah.
Yeah, I come from like, the Bay Area, and we build like high-end software, so I see Go High Level.
It probably annoys the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's good for the intermediate user, Let's say like it's terrible for companies that are dealing with logistics or like trucks or your roofing company or your HVAC company. It's not for that. It's typically for sales teams. From what I've seen and what I've used it for, 90% for the sales sector. Other than that, bring other softwares in because it's not it. But you need your sales team to like organize the leads, work the leads, set reminders, set tasks. I haven't found a better program to do that. Make sense?
Yeah, the price too.
It's hard to argue. It's harder shit to argue, and I'd like to argue, but so yeah. I know your wife had a couple questions. Do you think she'd benefit for a phone call?
Maybe,
I don't know. Why don't you take down my number in case she wants it? You get it from him? It's fine. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Cool? Solid? Worth the time?
Yeah.
All right.